Hello, a couple people asked if I would make a video on this Lee APP press system, the press itself, and kind of how I have it set up. This is just a few of the things that came along with the press, some of the packaging and whatnot. Um, I kind of made a decision to buy this press just basically for the ability that it had to do bullet sizing. That was the biggest thing that I wanted it for. Uh, Here's some 38 that I'm processing on it right now, sizing some 38 semi-wad cutters. It did a great job with this, and you can see I've got it mounted to a 2x4 just temporarily. I was trying to figure out how exactly I was going to be using this press, and as far as what kind of stand I was going to want for it, either a pre-made one or something I could just build myself. This is some 45. This is one thing that was a little goofy with this. I didn't have the claw set up correctly with enough tension on it to hold the bullet good enough. And as you can see, a couple of them fell off there because there is round nose going down. So it made it a little more difficult on that. Here's some 38 special. One of the odd things with this was the shell holder that they sent me for the 38 357. You can see in a picture I've got coming up here soon. It was one of the early ones that they made. They didn't allow at that time for any primer blowback at all. So in the way that the shell holder is sitting in there right now, it is popped up a little bit higher than it should be to allow the cases to go in there freely. Lee's answer to that was to take out the little divot. There's a little detent piece. Here's the shell holders. The one on the left is obviously the one I was just using for the 38. The one on the right is what they ended up going to that has the center milled out. That's the little detent part that goes in the piece that receives the shell holder. That's what Lee asked me to remove. There it is, kind of sitting in place. And there it is fully installed. So Lee asked me to pull that out, which the bad thing is every time you pull the bottle out, it kind of just pops. It's easy for it to come out. So here's the piece that I started working with to try to get this thing set up how I wanted to be able to use it. I wanted a little bit of storage in the back of it. I wanted to be able to store all the components I use with it on board. All the feed tubes, a couple wrenches to be able to adjust the piece that Lee sent along to hold the feed tubes on top of the shell carrier. Here's where I've got the wrenches and the feed tubes stored. And I just decided to keep a couple wrenches with this because I was constantly adjusting that piece that allows for the different sizes of cases. As you can see here on the side, I've also got the extra pieces that allow for different sizes of your shell cases, and then I've got a couple shell holders and stuff over there as well. This is one of my tumbler drums from my Harbor Freight piece that I use to do my case cleaning, and then this is one of the bigger bins that I use on some of the larger cases that I'm depriming. This is something I recently did. Had a response from Brad Blantz on the Reloader podcast group on Facebook for the PEX for the case feeding, and that worked out awesome. This is decamping some 9mm once I got everything set up kind of the way I wanted to. What I'm doing right there is, because of the size of that other piece that snaps onto the top there, that's a 380 case. So depending on how you're culling your brass out, that's one thing. The 380 is just small enough that it will pinch on the next 9mm case that comes down, so they're easy to pull out that way. Kind of stops things up a little bit, but if you're just running straight 9mm and you know it's a known source, or you just got done shooting, the thing will fly. Sometimes with the range pickup and stuff, you'll have stuff like the occasional 380 or 9 Makarov or something like that. And then every once in a while you'll run into, that's one of the nice things about decapping all this stuff. I like to decap it all before I load it so I can get it cleaned up. And it also allows you to bring out, especially if it's range brass, any of the stuff that has the burn-in primers in it. It really reduces the occurrence of you coming into a situation where you're potentially running those through one of your progressive presses and slowing things down. One of the things I wanted to do with this project is have a nice work surface on top of it next to the press to be able to hold, extra cases, tools, things like that. You can see I've got the two little white bins over there, one for anything that is not what I'm reloading. In this case, it's 9mm, so any of the extra stuff I just put in there. And then I've got one also for this just goes in the scrap bin that is for the burn-in prime stuff. This is just another view overhead. In this one, I'm pumping them out quite a bit quicker than what the other one was. And this is just another couple shots of the sides of the cabinet and how I've got it designed. That's kind of a close-up there on the nuts on that bolt that I was talking about that allows that to adjust up and down. This is a storage box that I keep in the back of it. That's just a small box that I've got. That's a smaller claw for 22 caliber bullets, and I've got a few die rings in there as well. I did get the Swage kit and also the APP bulge buster kit. I have not used the bulge buster kit yet. I've done some bulge busting with their other tools, but I haven't used it on this kit yet. These are some of the bullet sizing dies that I got from Lee for this press. So right now I've got them set up to do 45, 9mm, and 38 with those. Next we're going to look at the all new to Lee, what they're using for their Swage kit. So there's the Swage kit. This is what you get from Lee, and what it ships with is this particular pin, which serves as a backer for the Swage. In my particular case, I ended up milling it down, as you could see there with the red circle. I milled that down to match what my Dillon 600 is, against Lee's advice. They weren't too happy about that when I was talking to them about it. But anyway, that works pretty good for me that way. And once again, thanks for watching the video. Hope this is what you were looking for. Thanks.